Well, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everybody. What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video. And in today's video, considering the fact that I don't work on holidays, and this year Christmas is on a Saturday, being this coming Saturday, meaning tomorrow, well, that must mean there isn't a Saturday chat and chill for all of you this week, right? Wrong, because you've all been good little boys and girls, haven't you? But before we do all that, make sure if you guys haven't already done so and you enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content such as this, you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's go ahead and get into this week's Friday chat and chill. I probably should have planned this out better. Oh well. So in this week's installment of the Saturday chat and chill that's totally not on a Saturday, it's on a Friday because of the holiday. God, I gotta come up with a way to title this. We are going to be talking about the new things that Netmarble has been sprinkling out there for all of us. Of course, we have information based on what they gave us in that dev Q&A yesterday that we can go on now in order to kind of get a good gauge of what we can expect with the next update, which will be available foreseeably in the next 4 to 5 days. More than likely, if you consider the fact that that Boss Syndrome banner that they have running currently in the in-game main screen is going to be correct as far as the timing of what the next update is going to be. That means that next week we are going to be getting not only a new Boss Syndrome banner, but thanks to that Q&A video that manager Kiki put out yesterday that we did cover here on the channel, link will be in the description, we now know that we will be getting the 2002 story mode, and on top of that, we know that that 2002 story mode is going to have a whole new original story written by the guys over at Netmarble in conjunction with the guys over at SNK, and it is going to be centered around none other than Bob himself, Nameless. So in today's video, I figured since everybody's been asking me, and I mean everybody, it has been, yeah, like the #1 question I've been getting asked over the course of the past week or two, which is what do I think the next 2 limited banner characters are going to be? And I figured that in this video I would go ahead and tackle that and whatever the heck else I want to, because hey, it's Christmas and it's my channel, so I'm gonna do what I want. So anyway, I figured I would go ahead and throw my 2 cents in on this. I know that at least one of my guesses is one that I know a lot of people probably already 1 expect and 2 know that I'm expecting, but I've been a little bit mum on the other one because I really don't have much of an idea, but I figured that based on what I've seen now from that Q&A video as far as a few other little details, I have at least a educated guess. So that's what we'll go ahead and talk about real quick here, and then we'll get into the rest of the video. So first up, of course, I've been telling you guys for a while now that I do expect there to be a limited banner version of Nameless, and of course after that Q&A video yesterday with the devs, it pretty much cemented my opinion on this. Now of course there's plenty of evidence to go off of here, and no, I'm not going off of the main screen, title screen, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning when you open up the game, because everybody thinks that that means something, but if that meant anything, well, then where's my SS Terry and my SS Rio, right? So I'm not going to put too much stock into that. However, when it comes to this next BS banner, I do think that Nameless is going to be one of the Boss Syndrome characters featured. I'm just going based off of what Netmarble has been spoon-feeding us recently. Now, of course, going back to an older dev video, we do have a little bit of evidence we can go off from that as well, considering the fact that we saw the art team working on new art, or at least a art redesign for Nameless, so that could very well be the first hint that we got that Nameless was going to be getting a limited banner version. But then yesterday in the Q&A, whenever they talked about the fact that with this next update, we are going to be getting the 2002 story mode, which will feature Nameless in a big way, I figured that that was pretty much all the evidence we really needed in order to know that Nameless was probably going to be next in line for a limited banner character. Now, of course, I know a lot of people out there are going to be very excited about that prospect. A lot of people have been waiting for an updated Nameless, and it sounds like that's probably what we're going to be getting here very soon, but time will tell. This is all just guesswork on my part at the end of the day, but I do feel like there is plenty of evidence pointing in that direction. And then, of course, we get to the one that I'm a little bit fuzzier about. Now, to me, There's a couple different options here, and none of them are going to be 100% cemented in my own mind as a possible option. However, I'm just going to go ahead and take a wild guess, and it isn't necessarily going to be the most extravagant or the craziest guess in the world, considering I know a lot of people are expecting this one as well. But if I had to pick a second character to be paired with him, then that's going to be none other than Clone Zero. Now, of course, Clone Zero is a character that's kind of a love him or hate him type character. Some people love him, some people hate him, and there doesn't seem to be much in between. He's a character that really a lot of people out there that I've talked to really are disinterested in general in seeing a new version of, but at the same time I've also talked to people out there that love him and want to see a limited banner version of him, and I do think that everybody's favorite Mustachio clone is going to probably end up getting a BS version here very soon. I think all evidence points in that direction, and it would make sense considering the fact that these are really the last two characters that they could probably release from the Nest Saga as BS characters that would, one, make any sort of sense, and two, would kind of sew everything up and put a nice little bow on it if we want to stick with the Christmas motif. So that's kind of what I am thinking as far as what the next BS banner is going to be. Now, of course, there is always going to be the outside chance that we might see another character, maybe an Orochi Iori or someone of the like. However, I'm not necessarily seeing that. I don't think that that makes as much sense. You know, I've seen people float other characters around out there like Kusanagi or some of these other characters, but to be honest with you guys, I don't think those make as much sense. I think that we're more than likely at this point going to just have to consider the old adage of sometimes the most obvious answer is the correct one. Well, then I think that that gives us our answer on this. It would also make sense considering the fact that they have been putting a lot of love and a lot of attention on the Nest Saga in particular the past several months. It seems like they've been trying to sew that thing up, so being the fact that we are at the end of the year, if they wanted to go ahead and finish it off just so that way they could start with a clean slate going into 2022, then that makes all the sense in the world. So at the end of the day, I think my final answer as far as who I would guess would be the next two characters for the Boss Syndrome Volume 5. I'm going to go ahead and guess Boss Syndrome Nameless or Boss Syndrome Clone Zero, and those two are going to be the ones that I think we have the best shot at. So that is my guess, you guys. Now everybody can stop asking me and everybody can just take that and run with that. So with all that being said, I want to go ahead and talk about one last thing in this video before we go ahead and get to the end and the outro, and that is of course going to be other things that are going to come along with this update. So, you know, at the end of the year, it's kind of interesting when it comes to this game because we have had instances in the past where at the end of the year we end up getting a nice little blowout update, and I do think that that is what we are in store for with this next Boss Syndrome banner as well as the story mode for 2002. So hopefully with all this stuff, of course we know that with a new Boss Syndrome banner, we're more than likely going to end up getting a new rush dungeon. That tends to be the case with any of this type of stuff, so we can pretty much set our watch to that. But I do think that more than likely we're probably going to be seeing a pretty hefty update with this update. I think that being the fact that this is going to be the final update of the year, and being that it is going to be the New Year's update as a result, more than likely Netmarble is probably going to give us some nice little freebies as well as some in-game events. Now, of course, these in-game events that we're probably get will be things that are going to be things that we've already seen or kind of reruns that are reskinned and so on. Chances are that's going to be the best that we can expect considering how Netmarble operates with this type of stuff. I don't really necessarily think we're going to be getting a bunch of new content that we've never seen before. That doesn't seem like it is something that is on the horizon. However, I do get the feeling that very soon we're probably going to end up seeing Guild War added into the game. There's been a couple of assets that have been data mined recently, and while we have no confirmation whatsoever on what these assets are at all, so keep that in mind, you guys. Again, this is all just me guessing stuff, so again, guessing. That's all this is guessing. Well, I do think that there is the possibility that Guild War could very well be right around the corner, especially if they had planned on releasing it this year at the beginning of the year, and of course now we're at the end of the year and we still haven't seen it. then more than likely we're probably going to start seeing some sort of information about a Guild War mode in the next few months. That would be something that I could potentially see with this update, but more than likely is probably going to be something around the beginning of the year, and that would probably make a little bit more sense, but you never know. I do think that a Guild War mode would be super cool, considering the fact that they do have one in Seven Knights 2 that works very, very well, and it even gives out rubies, which again in Seven Knights 2 is the same as in King of Fighters All-Star. That is going to be the currency that you use to summon for your fighters or heroes or whatever you want to call them based on whatever game we're talking. So in general, it would be really cool if that were the case. It would definitely make being in a guild mean just that much more. Not to say that being in a guild isn't important, because obviously it is extremely important in this game, but I do think that Guild War would definitely be a really cool option for this game, and probably promote a lot more engagement from people in guilds. So hopefully that might be something we see very soon, if not with this update, then with some of the updates coming up. But either way, I do think that that's something we'll probably end up seeing probably very soon. So with all that being said, you guys, those are my guesses. I don't really have as much faith in these as I've had in ones past, but hey, you know what? We have a fairly decent track record here at the channel, so let's just throw them out there and let them ride and see what happens, right? But anyway, you guys, I think that's going to do it for the talking points this week in the Saturday Chat and Chill. As you guys can see in the background here with this clip, I did go ahead and cash in my tokens for the 20 million download banners, and of course, I did end up getting the option card that I've been looking for, so I might end up being done with these banners officially at this point, considering that that was really the only thing I was going for out of all of these re-releases. So we'll end up waiting to see. I am going to still end up getting some free rubies here that I can use and so on, but I may end up just saving those for the upcoming Boss Syndrome banner. That to me makes the most sense. I think I'm probably just going to bow out at this point, but anyway, you guys, that is going to be this week's Saturday, not Saturday Chat and Chill. Now, of course, tomorrow is going to be Christmas, so Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a safe and happy one for those of you out there that celebrate it. For those of you who don't, I hope you enjoy whatever holiday you do celebrate, and I hope you get to spend some time with the family and get some pretty cool gifts. But in general, you guys, I hope you all have a great weekend. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I don't work on holidays, so I will not be back until Monday. So until then, smash that like button and subscribe, and enjoy your holidays. You all take care. Peace.
Continue.